My camera's not.
All right. Okay, and just one more sound check. Can folks hear and see me on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Nice. Can,
Yes.
nice. Can somebody in the audience say something?
That's something.
Was that audible as well?
It's like sort of audible,
Sort
but
of.
not super clear what's being said.
Okay, I'll make sure to repeat anything from the audience if needed then. Uh, cool. Welcome to our October community meeting. Thanks for being here. We've got some folks in the room. We've got some folks online. So thanks all for joining. We are recording this as well. So if you're looking at this later, thank you for watching it. We are thrilled that you're here. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and so we got a lot to cover. We'll do a welcome, talk about 3 seasons of activities and some volunteer opportunities, and then Q&A. And if folks want to jam afterwards, we can jam afterwards. If folks online want to jam afterwards, you can self-organize a jam in this very Zoom if you'd like. But I suspect that you will log off. But if not, let me know. So reminder for folks who maybe need to know for the first time or for the 100th time, our mission is to steward a community of artists committed to growth, collaboration, joy, and justice in Baltimore around the world through improvisational theater. And I like how Corey put it on the website and on the door. We are spreading joy through improv in Baltimore and beyond. And our core values are transparency, safety, community, and action. And so hopefully you'll hear some of that come through today and the ways you can get involved as well. So if you have any questions throughout, please don't hesitate to interrupt. But also we will have a dedicated Q&A time at the end. But you don't have to wait. Sometimes the slide has the information you want to ask about. So seasons 19 and 20. So we haven't had one of these since March because we've been busy opening this building. We could have done it, but it would have been, the updates would have been, we're working on opening the building. Come help us. Now the building's open. So we have a lot to say. So over the last 6 months, really, the last 2 seasons, we've been doing a bunch of shows. And I've realized this TV only has so much resolution. So if there's a number you want me to read, let me know. But we've been pretty consistent throughout 2025 on having about 20 to 30 shows per season in person and about 30 to 35 shows online. And attendance has kind of gone up and down as it always does. We took a break from in-person shows in July and August, except for a few exceptions. We did Block Party, we did Sky Stage while we were doing the construction here, just to save everyone's effort towards getting the space open. Despite that, because we did 3 shows a night on Fridays and Saturdays in September, we actually had our most number of shows last season ever, which is cool. And we're able to break even, actually slightly profitable on our shows, which is exactly where we're going to be. And as you can see, looking ahead to next season, we have 68 shows in person, more than double our already most ever, which is going to be fun with, again, 3 a night here on Fridays and Saturdays. We've also continued doing a bunch of community jams and activities. We've got a lot of space around the city that we've been using, different churches and community centers. And we've been able to use those when we're not running classes or things in those spaces, including musical improv stuff, writing sessions, workshops from the community, short form jams, team rehearsal space, which is a new thing. We did our tape party. We're looking forward to bringing that back here at some point. For those who have not been to a tape party, it was effectively just a session where teams would come do a show in front of other teams and we'd record it so they have tape for festivals. We might not need to do that in the same way anymore because we're recording all of our shows here. And so it'll be easier for teams to get footage for their festivals, but it's also fun. And you get like a guaranteed good crowd for the recording, which was nice. We had fun at the various shows. We have lots of pictures of the fun. If you're not in our Slack, I love the Slack because of the show pictures channel where everyone posts pictures from almost every show. And since we're a nonprofit, we get free access to Slack until we have 251 members in which so we've got 141 right now. We've got at least 110 more before we have to start paying for Slack, which is great. It's a great place for photo storage. But we've done stuff. This is Sky Stage here on the left, which is an outdoor venue that prompted some absurdity.
Yes.
We've got some pictures from shows here at the Highwire Center, some more here as well as at Riverside Third Space. at Zissimo's, on Baltimore Holy Shit, and more at Zissimo's, Old Major. We've been all over town. We've got Peabody Heights, tons of people, tons of places, lots of great shows. So even though we were busy with this, we still had time to do improv, which is great. Education has also continued to blossom, which has been really good. We had 14 intro workshops in the last 2 seasons across 9 neighborhoods for 114 new people. It's probably not technically 114 new people. Some people go twice, but I'm not going to check. If 114 people showed up. We had 10 fundamentals classes, 11 workshops, and 30 students performed in 6 extra credit shows, which was a program kicked off by Jonathan Monroe, one of our teachers, to get students on stage with teachers. And it's now become a massive thing. Brian's going to talk a little bit more about that when we talk about next season. And we had our first team formed entirely by Highwire students join us last year, now known as Feral Bachelor Party. So they already get it, is what I'm saying. We did some other stuff that was fun. We went to Artscape. First time we ever had a performance at Artscape, which was really cool. And we had easily our best foot traffic at Artscape this year. For the last couple of years, time had been rained out or winded out or lightninged out. This year, the weather was delightful, and we were in a more advantageous spot on the footprint. So we had a lot of people come by. A lot of those folks have come to shows or classes, but we also got to do a performance, which was really fun. As you can see is it the top right picture? I can't tell.
Yes, the mayor, yeah.
The mayor, yes. He saw the mayor. We didn't talk to us, but he was near.
He stopped
He was nearby.
He stopped near our booth in a way that I could get a picture with him with our booth name.
Exactly, right.
He was checking his phone
Yes.
while talking to a constituent, and I
Right.
sprung into action.
Yes. However, we're getting closer. We did invite the mayor to our grand opening next week. We got a very nice decline, but we are also thank you to Jess getting a certificate from the mayor, congratulating us on the opening. So we're getting closer. He's going to show up here.
Not quite Highwire Day yet.
Yes, we're going to have it. We also had a really cool new thing happen thanks to the shepherding and suggestion of Allison Hopper. We sent a group up to the Chautauqua Institute, which is a massive, massive institution in upstate New York. They do summer camps, day camps, like programming year round with like heavy hitter folks, like people like Lewis Black do stuff there. I don't know why that's the name I came up with, but he was there the week we were. But like big authors, big people in arts and politics. And we did improv there. And we had 4 folks from Highwire go up. We had workshops, classes. Steve and Allison did a lecture on improv and the science of play for some folks there, which is really cool. And we are going to try and go back next year. It was really fun. It was basically a subsidized vacation for folks because it's a beautiful place and there's a lot of other stuff to do. And they had a blast. And we got really good reviews from the folks who participated. So that was cool. Applied Improv has continued to be a big source of income for the organization. It's been interesting kind of seeing how things have shifted this year, where last year we had fewer, bigger engagements. We had a couple things with like Johns Hopkins and University of Maryland, where we had like $5,000-$6,000 corporate gigs. This year we've had a lot of smaller ones, which has been good. We've gotten out to new communities, new clients. I've had a lot of repeat business with those folks, but they've been smaller, shorter things. And so we are probably on pace to make about the same as we did last year with that, which given how much we spent kind of working on the space is good enough. We are making a lot more profit margin on that this year, which is good. So we're looking forward to that to continue. We think there's a huge opportunity for corporate and applied improv stuff now that we have the space, because part of our offering can be the actual venue rental, right? And so a team who wants to do their team offsite can come here, rent the space for the day, and buy a workshop from us, as opposed to everything so far. We've had to only work with companies who can provide the space as well. Some marketing stuff. We always kind of show the numbers and they always kind of just go up a little bit, which is good. The kind of big ones to call out though are our email list continues to be a huge driver of traffic for us, and that keeps getting bigger and bigger. We've been asked many times, do you ever think you'll move off of Eventbrite for tickets? And the answer has been no, for two reasons. One, like I think we got an email this a few like last week that said like 36% of ticket sales in Eventbrite came from Eventbrite searches. And so like people go to Eventbrite to look for stuff to do. It's probably, 30 to 40% of people who find us for the first time find us on Eventbrite directly, as opposed to Google or an event calendar from the city or something like that, or Facebook. And people who sign up on Eventbrite, unless they opt out, also get put on our mailing list. And so it's a huge kind of virtuous cycle for us.
Yeah, it is the Eventbrite email about the stats. We knew it like colloquially talking to people, like, how'd you end up here? We looked on Eventbrite, we searched comedy and this came up and it looked good.
Yeah.
But to actually see it, and it's, people searching, people coming from a calendar where we put the Eventbrite link is included in that. So what they call hits that aren't from your effort. They aren't you giving people selling the tickets or putting it on your calendar. It's somewhere else. So it was really nice to see, like, okay, yeah, this
It
is
actually is
great.
working. Yeah.
And, we get a lot of other ticket services that try to reach out to us, and they might have some benefits, but Eventbrite's reach is just amazing.
Yeah. The biggest benefit other people have is lower fees.
Yeah.
So we do eat some kind of more significant ticket fees from them, but oh well, it's worth it. Two new rows on this list, which we didn't have before, are Google and Eventbrite reviews. We didn't have Google reviews before because we previously were a service area business on Google, where since we didn't have a physical address location, it limited how reviews could be processed for us. Now that we have our address, we can get reviews. If you haven't reviewed us, we'd love a review. We have 5 stars on Google, and we'd like to keep it that way, but be honest. But feel free to talk to us first if you have a problem. We'd be happy to fix it. Eventbrite reviews have also been a thing for a while. You may not know this because they're not currently visible to ticket buyers. They're only visible to the organizations putting events up. I don't know if they'll ever expose it. They've even said, like, we might not ever show this to people, but you at least have the reviews. So we've actually been getting Eventbrite reviews for like 6 months, and have 4.9 stars on Eventbrite, which is great, which means people are liking our events. I would imagine they're going to show that at some point, so it's good that we have those there.
I didn't know they existed till Barry said we had
4.9
sold before chat. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes. You will occasionally, if you buy a ticket through Eventbrite, you'll get an email the next day. It's like, review your event, but it's not all the time. Don't understand when it happens. It's some complicated test. So be on the lookout. That's the basic stuff. Let's do a little deep dive on the Highwire Center, which is where we are now if you're in the room with us. And if you're on the Zoom, you're seeing the back wall of the stage. So you're in the room too. First thing to start with is like a massive set of thank yous. And if I missed anybody, I will buy you your beverage or food of your choice for the next year, because it's impossible. But I will feel terrible, and I'll make it up to you. But we had folks who volunteered either in the space or particularly in the construction. I'm not going to read all the names. There's a lot. And we had a huge number of people who donated to us, which is ridiculous. It's unbelievable how many people donated to us. Still kind of very humbled at the idea that over 150 people would contribute to this project, including people I've never heard of. People I've tried to figure out who they are. We've asked other people. We don't know who they are, which is cool. Most of them we know, and thank you. There is a famous person on this list. We're not going to talk about it.
We were asked not to.
Yes. If you figure it out, enjoy that knowledge. And it's not Lin and Miranda. If you scroll through this,
it's not the Limbo family.
It's not. Yeah, there's some Easter eggs in here from people who made funny jokes on their donation names. I think, yes, the famous person is Jeff T, who is otherwise known as Rorschach. And then also thank you to the institutions that made this happen.
It's not confirmed.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm just the head writer.
um, for those who aren't aware of how this all came together, we were able to do the renovations for this space through a major grant through the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development called Project Restore, which is a state level program that gave a bunch of block grants to community organizations, mostly like Main Street organizations across the state. Our local organization that received that is the Southeast Community Development Corporation, which administers Highlandtown Main Street, as well as Highlandtown Arts District, both of which we are currently within. And last September, we applied for that program. We were matched with this space and selected after a lengthy process, and were awarded $90,000 to renovate and pay for our rent for the rest of the year, which is the only reason this is possible. We would not have done it. We would not have considered it if not for that program. So that's why they're at the top of the slide. In addition to that, we also have gotten a grant from the Baltimore Development Corporation, which is the Facade Improvement Grant. It's a program for spaces to improve their exterior facade, alongside making a similar sized investment in interior improvements, which we did through the previous grant. That's still in progress.
Wait till you see the sign with
Yeah.
the cat.
Over the next month, a awning will be installed at the corner that will kind of cover both sides. And then some amount of time later, we will attach signs to that awning that look really cool and are lit up at night and have our name on each side of the corner, as well as a blade sign on the corner. It's going to look fantastic. And unfortunately, there is a permit for that. So I'm going to not state at all when it's going to happen.
And I'm definitely not promising
No,
anymore.
the awning will occur in the next 4 to 6 weeks. The sign will happen someday.
The awning is controlled by our landlord.
Yes.
So we have some bit of certainty on that.
Yes.
The sign, who knows?
Who knows? The signage, however, we know will be very good. They're the same company that did the door graphics as well as the transom graphics that are the stained glass view. Although most of the credit for those should go to Corey, who designed them. They're just stickers. I'm sure it's not that hard to cut the stickers out, but I want to give credit to Strategic Factory, who did a great job, and I'm sure will do a great job with the much more difficult sign fabrication. We also have grants from Maryland State Arts Council and what was formerly Baltimore Office of Promotion in the Arts, I think is now something Baltimore, Create Baltimore.
I think that's what.
Create Baltimore. That helped to fund kind of our existing programming while we were focused on building this space out. This is what it looked like before. The picture on the left is from about March when renovations had begun. And the picture on the right is from September when the first day we saw the space and toured it with the folks from Southeast Community Development Corporation. So yeah, it was a big empty rectangle. During it was a slightly less empty rectangle with a lot of folks and help, including animals who did most of the hard work. And now it looks like this. And you can see inside, but it looks incredibly amazing thanks to a bunch of help. We've got a bunch of cool things happening here, and it's super nice. There's 1,000 other pictures out there. If you have pictures from the development process, we'd love to have them. Yeah. At the end of season 20, our abbreviated kind of month here doing shows in the space, we sent a survey out just getting feedback on the soft opening for teams and volunteers. People are happy, which is good. We've been hearing anecdotally that people are happy with the space, which is nice to hear. But the kind of themes are, people are enjoying the vibe. It feels welcoming. It feels like a home, which is exactly what we're going for. Literally, the campaign was called Highwire Has a Home, so I'm glad that lined up. Trying to continue making this a space that works efficiently and effectively. My favorite part personally is this kind of comment about the performance room being loud. Like this space, there was a moment when we lost 5 feet to BGE behind us, and we were like, I don't know if there's enough room to have shows in here now. But it's turned out to be really great. We've got a large enough stage. We've got room for 30 to 40 people, and it feels good when even 10 people are in here. Like the laughter bounces off the walls. It's very easy to hear. It feels like a good environment to do comedy shows. Some stuff that was suggested that is in progress or has already happened since people suggested it is we do have a curtain. It's in a box in the tech room that we're going to put at the stage end of the hallway to dampen sound and hopefully make it a little bit easier to talk or warm up in the front and not bleed that sound into the back, as well as be able to run like 2 rehearsals or 2 classes simultaneously. We do have a plan, if needed, to order a second of the same type of curtain for the other end of the hallway. Personally, I prefer not to have to do that because I think it really looks nice to be able to see through the hallway from the front. But in limited times, like if we're doing rehearsals, having those 2 curtains would be totally fine. We have some things in the works for a more dedicated spot to take photos. We have some wonderful artists on deck to put some things in the front room that we can't talk about yet, but it's coming soon. We now are on said stage. We are elevated on a platform
And
stage.
I think that comment came in the day it was big.
Yeah.
I think that came in on Thursday, and that was the day it was actually happening.
Continuing to rotate in food and drink options. I think that'll continue to happen. We're also going to figure out if and when we can have some partnerships in that space. One of the things we really want to do is build on the homage to Hone's Bakery and have some type of baked good available at some point. There are a lot of vendors in the area who could provide those things. We don't know enough yet about like what audience sizes are going to look like or what space usage is going to look like. And we don't want to buy 100 donuts and then have 80 of them go home with me or go in the trash. Neither of those would be good outcomes. So once we get a little bit more stability with things, we will hopefully do that. And then some things we haven't figured out yet, but we're going to either adjust or, not adjust and help people adjust themselves. We'll figure out what the right answer for all these things are. Is still working on lights. And this is a weird thing for Highwire because we have not had like true stage lights in any venue for the last 4 years. And so the switch from performing at like Charm City Meadworks, which was all overhead ceiling lighting, to actual stage lights has been an adjustment for sure. The lights are on like 11% power and they're still very bright. And so we're still working through what those could look like. We do have a few more lights to install. Some will go on the back wall behind me and then some more on the back of the stage area. Having more lights will allow us to make all of them slightly less bright, we think, but we don't know yet. We'll see. The traffic pattern with the host and the teams coming through the hallway is sometimes clunky. We're going to find a way to make that a feature, not a bug. It's a hallway. It's going to be like that, but we think we can turn it into more of feel more on purpose.
And a lot of that also is working with hosts on what there's not, for lack of a better term, the script or the plan. So, just working with, hey, do this. We found this has worked best. So that's kind of the stuff we need to figure out just to get best practices as we get it. But as we've talked about since we were making these plans, we need to live here for a while and figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
It's but like this person said, it's funky, but it's not like killing. It's not terrible. So we'll get there.
Similarly, figuring out light cues, a lot of this like process stuff. And then figuring out like how best to warm up. We've had a few different options. My favorite so far was a team. It was, I think, who was it? It was a couple weeks ago. It was Chronic Pain, all crammed into the tech booth with me and like warmed up in like the smallest circle I've ever seen, which was delightful and hilarious, but might not work for everybody. So we'll figure out some options and we'll go from there.
One of the hopes,
Yeah.
this may not happen, I don't know, is that we get the curtain and then we create some sort of corner in the front in the lounge, like maybe just past the wall, put a screen, a privacy screen or something up just for shows, and that can kind of be a second green room area. I'm doing air quotes like nobody can on Zoom can see me. But that will create some sort of pocket where people can do that. If the sound stays in that corner and doesn't come down the hall and you don't yell 5 things, you just say 5 things. yeah, we've known from the beginning that was going to be a challenge, and
Yeah.
we're trying to figure it out.
I'm
You know,
teasing.
I don't hate that
Yeah.
because that's the furthest away,
Yeah.
and but that's a cool place to sit. I love having people sit and talk in there.
And we'll keep getting feedback. So if you have thoughts, we want to hear
Yep.
them. We'll keep asking for feedback as usual. This was our initial budget forecast of about $125,000 in funding, and we broke that down into what we thought we were going to spend it on. Things were like different than that, but not different than that, if that makes sense. We ended up raising a lot more money. We got about 35,000 more in grants and about 5,000 more in crowdfunding than we planned on, which is great. Made things a lot easier to deal with when things came up, like paying for a fire alarm system that wasn't originally on the budget. Thought that was going to be covered by somebody else. And as you can see, the renovations ended up costing way more, and the furnishings ended up costing way less. We had budgeted like $7,000 for lights, and we ended up spending like $2,000 for lights, and we're very happy with them. So there was some movement in the categories, and we have money left over. About half that's going to go to the part of the sign that our grant doesn't cover. We've got like $8,000 kind of just waiting for feedback and kind of deciding, probably after another month or two, like where you have the best opportunity to improve the space. And we are going to kind of hold on to about $12,500 as cash reserves. That'll leave us at the end of the year with $16,000 or about 4 months in expenses if things go wrong, like if the HVAC breaks or whatever.
And one key thing about this, especially that TBD improvements, that is Project Restore money, which we have to spend in 2025.
Yes.
That money, that is a condition of the grant. So unless they made some strange change that said you can apply that to 2026,
Right.
it has to be paid for this year. If not, that would be paying for rent next year. I mean, we just feel like let's
Exactly.
pay for rent next year, but we can't. So we
Yep.
have to spend that 8,100 this year.
Yep. What's on deck for season 21? Pass it to you, Brian.
All right. Season 21 has started last night with 3 shows. Very excited about this. Currently, we have 54 teams and/or shows scheduled. We have one-hour block for the end of October that is not filled. I'm talking with some folks in Philly about that. So that's why we might get more, or we will reach out. The specialty programming, we are very excited. Hocus Hocus is coming back. For those hardcore people, the improvised Thanksgiving Day parade is going to happen here in the space. If you were not in our community for that, then it was an online show where we had 2 hosts who had no idea what the parade acts were. They popped up on Zoom one by one and they had to react. We're going to do that in here. So people will be marshaling in the back and they'll come down the hallway and the hosts will have to react. So that is going to be super fun. And we'll have Fa La La Laughs again and probably a second Christmas program, which will be part of our greenhouse program, which is kind of on pause right now, but we'll be coming back next year probably. So that's something that's been in the works for a while and it's turning into a Christmas show.
Nice.
And then, being able to bring Baltimore Holy Shit here into the space or out onto the stoop was great. We got 2 new teams from DC to take us up to 6. A second team from Lancaster. The team from Lancaster that was here last season can't do this season, but a different one is. And we now have 4 Highwire student forum teams. So
Yes.
we are very excited about that and hope that keeps growing. The submission and scheduling process, I cannot thank everyone enough for putting up with me in my emails. The liaisons, the people who they bugged. We went from close of submissions to schedule being sent out. I was able to get it out in 4 days.
Wow.
We closed the submissions on Sunday and we sent out on Thursday night. Thankfully, so many people got in early. We could start to see the shape of the schedule and get that worked out. So the people who were applying later, I was just fitting them in and moving stuff around, not starting from scratch. So that was great. But we are going to keep looking to work at it. I'll probably reach out to liaisons. The 2026 schedule dates are on the Submit a Show page now. I have not announced that, but they are up there. It's pretty much the same as they were this year, just moving a day or 2.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to keep refining and talking to people about is I don't think we're gonna go to you say, I want this day at this time. We're already looking at 6 shows a weekend for 12 weekends, so that's a lot. But we might go, these are the times we prefer, or these are times we definitely cannot do. If someone has another show somewhere else, whether it's a big or the First Friday shows that Yard Sale's doing, or folks, Pletris is doing at Old Major, and you want to try and do 2 in one night and this will work, or this person works till 6, we need to be after 7 o'clock. It's the only way I can. I think we're gonna have a free form to give people some guidance rather than multiplying the available clicks you have to make by 3. That just, it seems excessive. So yeah, we're gonna keep playing with that and figuring out the best way to do it. We will be doing more bit shows. We had one last season, it went very well. I have dates carved out. I just have to talk to the queen. And also just look at like what else is happening. Is that a good day? And you know, when we announced the space and how we were going to plan and what shows we were going to do, I said the board would continue to be the artistic council for 2025. You know, largely I do the nuts and bolts of the schedule, but I definitely liaison with them of how about if we do this? What, you know, for instance, we're not going to do a 7 o'clock show on Halloween, and that was a paucity of people available, and also talk to the board, like, do we just want to keep that to be an open, healthy thing on Halloween if people want to walk in and see it? So we're going to do that. We only have 8 and 9 o'clock shows that night. But when we get to 2026, when we have a full season of 3 nights, 3 shows a night, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to get some folks together for a committee to be like, all right, is that the best? Both looking at the statistics and feeling out what performers and liaisons think. So when we have more data, when we can really make some good decisions, we'll probably look at it. So this structure will probably stay for season 22, January through March. In the spring, we might tweak things. We'll see. We're gonna check it out, but we're gonna definitely follow the vibe of the community along with the data. Thursday Club. This is one of my pet projects that as soon as it was like, hey, we're gonna have this space and we're gonna be able to do lots of things. And I wanted to have a jam that was more than just putting people on stage and then leaving. I know those are great kinds of jams, and we will probably do ones like that, where once we get the numbers of people coming, that it's like, hey, we're just gonna put you up. But I also think I want the jams to be a time where people can hang out. I want jams to be a place where people can go over their boundaries, where people they haven't met. I don't want to throw people on stage with strangers and have no discussion of that. And that is a problem with jams worldwide. Anytime you listen to a podcast talking about jams, that is one of the biggest things, is that weird stuff can happen. And I don't want that here. So every jam we do is gonna at least have some sort of boundary discussion, whether it's in small groups of people who are a new team, or whether it's the whole group, if it's only like 6 to 8 of us to talk about. So the jams will be a community thing, and also let's hang out before and after. So we're gonna have a week-to-week focus. It's gonna move. The ones we've had so far, your new favorite is the long form jam I'm running, and that is, you know, a chance for you to find new favorite people to play with. Hopefully teams will come out of that eventually. That's a goal, that you'll find the people you like to play with and do that. Millie ran short form huge fun, and we're going to keep that as our short form jam, probably monthly, as long as the schedule allows, both hers and ours. I did a Threes Company, which focused on trios. I want to give people opportunity to learn new ways to perform and try it out. And there'll be more formats coming soon, especially ones you suggest. Shoot me an email, drop me a message in Slack. We want to make these super fun. One that will be coming hopefully this year is a sketch jam, where my goal is to do one where people get an hour to write a 2-page sketch. Just come up with an idea and sketch, and you know, write it out, and then we'll perform them or just do a reading of them. I want people, you know, building a sketch program is hard. I'd like us to have sketch here eventually, but if you can just do it right and perform and come up with characters, then maybe we can skip the line a little bit that way. Thursday Club is for everyone. It's been mainly students so far, but performer, everybody, come hang out. Let's just have a couple hours. You don't have to be here every week. You don't have to do every one. Come and you'll be out of here before 9. You can go home and go to bed at a good hour. So we're gonna do it every week we can. we won't be doing it for the grand opening this week. We'll have a jam or workshop after it. There is another event which we haven't finalized yet, which will preempt Thursday Club coming up, but it's going to be very exciting. So I'm excited about it, and I want people to come and have fun. Oh, me again. Extra credit.
I put all yours together.
Yeah, extra credit. Like Barry said, the last 2 seasons, we had 6 shows over 2 seasons, I think it was. We have 7 shows this season. We had 1 last night. And for the first time, pretty much, everybody's not getting every date they want to do. We're spreading it out. We're trying to keep it, because a lot of them are just a 30-minute block, and I just want it to be one good set, 6 to 8 to 9 people, instead of cramming people in for 12 to 15 minutes. Now that we have all these, we can do it. Next week, the 11th, is we have the full hour, so we'll have as many people as possible. Another week, it's at the 9 o'clock hour. It's the second show, so we'll have a bigger group, so we can do 2 sets there. And this was Jonathan Monroe's idea. This was not ours. J-Mo brought this to us, submitted it as a show. And then he got busy last year because he was directing a play. He's a fancy man. Yeah, he's a real thespian. But J-Mo just got busy, and I was like, hey, I can run it until things settle down. And so we kind of took it over as a board thing, but we're trying to turn it back to the teachers. So I'm trying to get teachers who will be a show captain. And essentially all we do is give you the names of the people, the teachers. And then you can, if you want to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, as long as everybody's on board, we want that. We want the teachers to connect with the students and to do that. But teachers who want to perform and not have to do that heavy lift, we got you. You can jump in and do it. 18 students have signed up so far for this season. The form's still open. So if you're students seeing this and haven't done it, message me if you don't have the link. The link's in the student email that went out the other day. We want to get as many of you on stage as possible, as often as possible. These are front loaded towards October for a variety of reasons. One of which is we had some teams with low October availability. The other is we have student teams that put most of their dates in November and December. So a lot of those folks are going to get on stage. And if you're getting shows through your team, you might get fewer extra credits just because you're getting staged. But no, I'm excited to keep this as a thing, so it just continually happens.
Yeah. With the additional space, we're also expanding the community events. We had a form go out for submitting your own events as well. Some of those things are going to be things that we organize from the board. A lot of those are going to come from connections with Highlandtown. So like participating in the neighborhood trick-or-treating on Halloween. But other things to come. I know there's some other events. Millie, you've shared some with me. I've talked with some other folks. We're not going to do every one of them. We're not going to try and shoehorn ourselves in and be like, hey, come to our space when it's not the right time. But a lot of these events are like Art Walk last night, where people go around to a bunch of stuff. For those who are not in the Zoom, Jeff suggested we have soup gang Sundays, which I think is a great idea. We've talked about this before, where you bring soup and then you jam. It's like a potluck, which would be delightful. But we're going to do intro workshops here. We're going to do jams, workshops for team rehearsals. We actually have team rehearsal space now between St. Mark's and here. We have enough availability to start letting people use space for rehearsals, continuing our musical improv stuff. I have community group rentals. So we're still figuring out what the rental policy for the space will be. The very kind of short version is likely to be if you are asking people to pay to be here when you rent the space from us, and or you're not opening it to the public, we're going to charge you a fee. And if it's open to the public and it's free, we're not going to charge you a fee, with some variations in there. As I said to Brian, there would be some events that if they paid us $1 million, we would say no to. We're not going to talk about what those events would be. So there's always some discretion there, but in general, we want community organizations to be able to use the space, especially during like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 hours, when we're not using it for anything else. But also on evenings and weekends for other kind of community driven projects. There will be an element, as I mentioned before, of trying to rent out the space for corporations as part of training programs. Our kind of early idea on that is we will have a advertised rental fee that is competitive with other space rentals in Baltimore City, and that fee will go to zero if you buy a workshop from us. And so incentivizing people to do a workshop with us, but also get access to the space for the day for their team meetings, for example. We're gonna do some volunteer training. I'll talk about that in a couple slides. We're gonna have indie teams, roundtables. We got other, kind of cool, just networking events coming up.
And the
Yeah.
one thing about all this is these things have come in, we're starting to figure out like how the space will be used on, like, especially Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons. Like, what do we do on those? And, I had mentioned colloquially just to people, like, maybe someday we'll have afternoon shows, and maybe we will. It's probably not gonna happen yet.
Yeah.
Just because people are suggesting Sunday afternoon events, and also we're producing 6 shows a weekend. And even if you're like, I'll produce it, we still need to like make sure we're taking care of the space. So some things that's a 2026 issue to solve. And we're always going to consider stuff. We're always going to talk about, but also we have to maintain our sanity and set some priorities.
Yeah. Good segue. Our priorities for next season.
I didn't even know.
I know. That's improv. From my perspective, and then kind of at the board level, our biggest priority is making sure that we're operating at a break even at least here when the grant money for the rent ends at the end of the year, and so making sure that by January we feel like we're in a good place across shows, classes, and rentals, so that we're not dipping into those cash reserves to pay rent. Feel pretty confident that's going to happen. We're going to start tracking that from October, and don't think it'll be too challenging, but that's kind of number one. Now that we have a 5-year lease, we got to make sure we stay here. We are also going to reopen board recruitment. Katie, who's been on our board for a little over a year, is going to step down at the end of her term, and we also could use more help. And so we'll put a call out for that with some more details. Probably over the period of season 21, we'll take submissions for that. We'll meet with folks, interview, have conversations for mutual fit, and hopefully get people onboarded to start in January for new board terms. Alongside that, working to expand volunteer support, some infrastructure for that, some, getting back to having committees again. As I mentioned before, we want to finish those remaining space improvements. We got to spend that money that Project Restore has left for us. And then really get into neighborhood and business engagement around here. We've already started to do that, but we think that's a huge opportunity to kind of build a community of both regular attendees, but also partners in the area. And then other couple key grant applications that we've done every year that we want to do again this year to make sure we get money for next year. And do all the events that we talked about. Closing with how to get involved in volunteering stuff. Right now, our top priority for volunteering is helping us out with shows, both online shows and in-person shows. And so for in-person shows, we've got 3 roles. You can be a host. Drew's done that before. Thank you. You can be front of house. Several of people here have done that before. Thank you. And you can run the lights, which I think people are all asking about. Learning how to do. It's not hard. I can teach you in 10 minutes. Speaking of which, we're going to have volunteer training scheduled for Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th. We'll put those up soon. That won't be the last time we ever do it. And if you want to learn how to do tech today and you're here, you can. It'll take 10 minutes. I'm happy to do it. But we'll have a dedicated session where you can kind of learn all of the roles at once, see what you like, ask questions, and online tech in particular is helpful. There's been a kind of core group of like 4 people who've done that for years now. And so always helpful, especially with us running more events on Sundays, having classes here on Monday and Tuesdays, which is when our online shows are. Having a broader group of people who can run that would also make operations of other things easier.
And online tech, as one of the 4, is not it's not hard. It really
It's actually the
isn't.
easiest one. It sounds intimidating, but
because also it's like, and we tell this to our teams, like I may do more than some other people. I may have your song cued in, but if you're not comfortable with sharing your sound and doing this, and you don't want to be on camera, you just want to be a voice, fine.
Yep.
We just want the show to stream and the
Yep.
people to get in and out, and that's it. And the folks we're down to like 20 some teams. They're all awesome.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap. They've done this a lot. They're super friendly and super patient. And once Comcast eventually
Oh, I forgot about that.
Once Comcast eventually puts our cable in, like if we're having a class here on a Monday and you're nearby or you don't want to do it at home or your internet's a pain in the ass, you can come here and
Yeah.
you can sit in the tech booth and run it. And basically you're just opening a Zoom, announcing the teams, telling them when they have their light and then closing the Zoom. So it's not hard. But also just along with this, thank you to everybody who has volunteered.
God.
I mean, we did the thank yous before. Like so many people are like, I'll do 2 things tonight,
Yeah.
or I'll figure it out. I mean, September 20th, we had a wedding where the entire board and most of our key volunteers were at the wedding of an improviser. And so many people just said, I'll figure it out. I'll handle it. And that was just like, we got one text and it was just, how much are tickets again? I was so worried. I told my wife, like, I'm going to be checking my phone a lot because I'm just worried that something's going to break. And nothing broke. And people just stepped up and they were adults, which we knew they would be. You just worry. So thank you. And thank you for always. Oh, that's right, Corey. You were out of town. That's right, I think. But whatever. Sorry.
And BOC's in California.
Yes. But anyway, we have people step up and I hope people continually step up, seeing where we need things the most and saying, can I help you with that? And understanding that, we can't get to everything. I was out with Mouse Stuff the other night and Daniel was like, if you guys thought of this, and he's like, I'm sorry I'm annoying you. I'm like, yeah, we've probably thought of everything at some point. We just haven't gotten to it. So just keep asking how you can help and keep trying to push us to make things better.
Yeah. Couple things to call out. I saw some people scanning the QR code. That's just a link to the volunteer sign up sheet. We have some special events. We're doing 2 more art walks, and we're going to give out my favorite Halloween candy.
Yes.
I haven't seen the freeze dried. Oh,
I recently tried it with roasted peanuts, with salted peanuts, with
Uh-huh.
candy corn.
Oh.
It tastes exactly like a fucking peanut.
that sounds fantastic.
Okay.
Candy corn. Okay, so we won't hand out peanuts because
Corey gave us thumbs down. All right, Corey's off the board.
And if you want to do other stuff, there are other things as mentioned. We're working on facilities stuff. Like if people want to help us with monthly cleaning and stuff, we'll have opportunities to do that. We're going to set up some committees probably starting in the next year, and we have a new suggestion box, which is the second QR code you have here, which is just a place for anybody who has ideas to send them so they don't get lost.
Yeah.
And as that happens, we'll also start reporting those back in future community meetings and in Slack. We'll try and keep that visible for everyone. If you go to it, you'll see that it is distinct from Suggestion Ox, which is a service that provides our anonymous reporting. I didn't mean for those 2 things to sound so similar, but the company's called Suggestion Ox. It's great, and that's where we do all of our like code of conduct reporting type things. Did I just get a Slack notification asking for permission to that?
And just while Byron's doing that, along the lines of want to do more, and it is coming out like we have our grand opening. I don't know if that's on here later.
I didn't mention that.
Our grand opening is Thursday. Yeah. It's like I said, the mayor won't be here unfortunately, but we'll have folks from the mayor's office. We'll have folks from the state in town. Please sign up if you're going to come so we can get food and have enough chairs. I know sometimes we're just going to come and support each other, but please, that just will help us. That's a big concern. Like a lot of people don't want to sign up and we don't have enough food, and I just don't want us to look that way. So please just go to Eventbrite and sign up. But also want to do more, tell people, share stuff, bring them, encourage them to come to a workshop, that kind of stuff. That's important. We want to keep doing that. We see so many people get excited, but there are so many competing priorities. Just last Saturday, I was teaching a workshop out from 11 to 1 over in Fed Hill. And on the way from Fed Hill to here, I passed 3 other events happening in Baltimore. There's so much going on. So just find ways to get people to come and give us a chance.
that's all we got for you. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We'll give our attendees and folks a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for the Zoom claps. If anybody has questions, happy to hear them. I'll stop sharing my screen. Otherwise, thanks for being here. Several claps from Zoom, emoji claps. It's a very like proper clap.
And I don't know if your screen, mine, they're flying across the screen.
Yeah, that's the new thing. Yeah.
There's more.
Now they're exploding. Oh my
Now
God.
that's Corey.
Okay.
Highwire.
Corey is here. Yes. Okay.
Corey, how many times is Jalen Hurts gonna get sacked
Uh,
Three. We go to DraftKings.
Yeah, put that prop bet in.
Nice.
Awesome. And Barry says 4 push TDs.
And Corey says the Birds will still win 21-7.
Which is interesting with you can't take Barry's and Corey's bet simultaneously there.
No.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for joining online. Thanks everyone for being here. And next one of these will probably be in December. We'll definitely have one in January. We're going to do one every season, but we'll probably do an extra one in December talking about like the 2026 budget and plan and stuff like that. And
also there may be some like pop-up holiday gatherings.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about that. Just colloquially, I know Millie and I talked about that for something for the night Falala Laughs is, and one of the Thursday clubs might be like potlucky.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna figure that out. We want people to hang out here. We know Kristen did an amazing job. We did not shout that out enough. The decoration, the planning, the execution, just amazing.
Yeah.
If you need anything when you're here except for a toothbrush, and according to Old Man Improv, there are no condoms. You can go into the tech booth / green room and find it.
The performer amenities.
People love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks everyone. We're going to shut the Zoom and we will see you all soon.
Bye. Thank you to